Hello everybody, Zach here, and I hope this video finds you well. I know this is not the traditional video you see from me, and this would usually be only on my second channel, but I wanted to address more people, and I wanted this to reach as many people as possible, because I think some of it has great importance, definitely with everything that's going on right now. And there's a couple different things I want to touch base on with you guys, fans of mine, as well as people that this finds otherwise. And I'll summarize it in, I'm going to first go over mental health, physical health, and then the channel and all this other stuff that I'm doing, kind of more personal to me. This kind of all does revolve around me, and it's because it's my own experiences with this stuff. So on my second channel, I put out a video that was more about physical health. Of course, that was my focus at the time. I lost a lot of weight this year so far. I've lost about 50 pounds. Which is something I'm going to pat myself on the back about. But it's also to encourage other people to look inwards and do the same, or to tell those people that already have that as a goal, maybe long term, or that it's a plan down the road, that they can do it, and you can do it at any time, and you don't necessarily need to work out to achieve said goals either. That's an important factor. There are a lot of people that believe that the only way that you can do this is by eating 100% clean or by having to work out, and that's not the case. You can reduce your calories and go into a calorie deficit and start to see that. But the long term, you need to have more of a goal. And what I mean by that is you either need to completely overhaul everything, and it needs to be a life change. And I think a lot of these things that I'm going to talk about do more or less have to be life changes. They can't just be quick fixes. And they need to be stuff that you can build into a habit, which usually for most people is probably formed within a week or two. But for somebody like me, usually takes more like a month. And I know there's varying studies on all that kind of stuff, but for me, it's more like a month for sure. So my point being, go out and do it. And that applies to everything. That doesn't just apply to weight, doesn't apply to mental health. It doesn't apply to a career thing. Just like do it, or at least start to chip away at it. And like I said, that can be something simple. I can't undervalue the importance of drinking water and being hydrated. I probably used to drink like real soda, like real sugar soda or high fructose corn syrup soda. And the alternative was water, not the other way around. And that sounds like something simple that's like, oh yeah, no crap, drink water. But seriously, drink water. If you have a headache, drink water. If you feel just mentally in a fog, drink water. Your body, there's a lot of good and bad communication that comes from your body. And sometimes it's just like, oh, I feel sluggish, or I feel tired, or I have a headache. What's going on? Most of the time, you're dehydrated. Or if you feel hungry for everything, you're likely dehydrated. Of course, I'm not a medical expert in any sense of the way, but most of the time, our body does send those signals to us, and we misinterpret it as, I'm hungry. Well, and then you eat, you get some hydration potentially from it, but usually you dehydrate yourself even more. You need to drink more, as well as these other things that are water-based, but aren't fully just water. They help, but in the end, there's other things in them that don't help, definitely with hydration. So drink water. I know I feel like kind of all over the place, but trust me, there is a point to all of this. And I hope you gain something from it. Another thing too is like listen and educate yourself as much as you can. Definitely if you are at home and you have more time now. I know that's not the case for everybody. There's a lot of people that are still essential that have to go into work. But if you have a commute, or if you have any time during your day that you have headphones on, or that you can use that background noise, quote unquote, that you would usually either fill with music or something, I say take it as an opportunity to educate yourself. So of course, what I'm talking about right now is, of course, with food and with physical health. I really can't recommend American Glutton podcast anymore. I've tweeted about it, as well as everybody in my friend circle knows about it and probably is tired of me talking about that kind of thing. But seriously, can't recommend it more. I would recommend you go back. You don't just hop in, but you don't have to start from the beginning. There's a lot of different people on there, that from nutritionists to weightlifters, you know, to people that are more focused on the bodybuilding type stuff or workout type stuff. And then there's also people that are there to talk about nutrition and habits and breaking habits and forming new ones. So that's an incredible place for physical health, in my opinion. I've probably recommended it 100 times, and I'm still going to be recommending it because it's an easy listen. It's funny at times, and it can educate you greatly. So that's one thing I would highly recommend if you have, like I said, use, if you want to, of course. I'm not forcing you to do anything, but use this opportunity if you have the downtime or if you have more time at home. Use it to educate yourself if you can and if you want to. And I would say that does kind of lead into mental health. So I do sometimes say, you know, tweet stuff out or go on to social media or other places, and I say certain things to not only, you know, some of my weight loss early on, it was to hold myself accountable. One, the switch, I switched over. Like I hit that mental point where I was just like, I need to lose the weight, right? But then I also made myself accountable by tweeting out about it and putting it on Instagram and stuff. I know not everybody's in that place where they have a lot of people that would, and I'm not saying that, you know, the people that follow me are going to hold me accountable anyways. And what I mean by that is, it's not to say that, you know, if I started to all of a sudden gain weight and go the other way, that everybody would be tweeting at me or messaging me like, what the hell are you doing? But I have a feeling that some people would, and people that I am friends with that do follow me on social media would be either critical or they would call me out on it. And that's what you need to do. You need to form some type of support structure for some of these things. And the reason I say that too is I also tweeted out a little bit ago about meditation and utilizing the Waking Up app. Again, another thing I can't recommend more. It's an incredible app. It is secular Buddhism. Well, it's not even Buddhism. It is literally removing meditation, and it is full, or I should say not full of, the opposite. Removed from religion. So you can take it in as a practice of true just meditation, and it's all guided and you can learn a lot from it. It is paid. I think there's a free trial, but it is paid, but you can go on and request from Sam Harris's site on the Waking Up site, it for free for a year. So he wants to ensure that people aren't limited, or if they can't pay, or if you even have to think about it, you shouldn't have to think about it. So I can't recommend that more. There's also other podcasts that I listen to, like Tim Ferriss' show, who he brings on some people that are very into meditation and the like. And I think, and same with Kevin Rose, the Kevin Rose show. So I think I've tried to meditate numerous times, and I've never succeeded because I've either just set a timer or I've done stuff non-guided and thought I could work my way through it. And if you're a newbie, or if you have no idea anything about meditation, obviously read about it first or listen to something about it first. But that being said, nothing beats guided meditations. And they can really help you out in terms of your mental state and even your physical state with that being said, because they are truly connected, and they can really influence one another. So I kind of focused on this physical first, and then I went to focusing on my mental health. They obviously work hand in hand. If you're going to be better physically, your head and all these certain chemicals and everything will be just work themselves out too. You'll have better balance between the two. But meditation has really helped me in another way. So I have always been tracking. I found this very funny. I was looking at it last night. I've always been tracking my heart rate, like beats per minute, obviously, on my Apple Watch. And it was funny. I peaked in February. This was when I was at my heaviest weight. I peaked in February, and I think it was like 78 or 75 was like my average resting rate, which is probably high, but a good example. I'm still bigger, but I was bigger then. And now I've brought it down to like 60, just over the period of a couple months. Well, I say a couple months, I guess it's been 6 months. Jeez. But I brought it down to where my average is 60. And then same with my walking. I've reduced that 12 or 13 as well, because my heart has to do less work. And then I've also, through meditation and watching also my heart rate while sleeping, I've been able to meditate and have that same baseline as what I do when I'm sleeping, which is around 50 beats per minute for me. I can't 100% say to the accuracy, but my point being is that I'm matching what I'm at when I'm in my best sleep state, which I think is also good. You know, if you can slow your body down and become, obviously, if you can remove certain stresses, great. If you can't, learn how to deal with them. So there's also the Secular Buddhism podcast. I feel like I'm recommending 100 podcasts, but these are a lot of things that have helped me and I have listened to, and they've really helped educate, even in the most basic forms, which sometimes is enough to open your mind up to different things. Because I think that's the one thing too, is we tend to get stuck in this loop with social media, or with, definitely now, I feel like people not being out and about. Potentially they're even more closed in, or they're only looking at social media. They're only looking at stuff they already follow. You need to branch out and you need to intake different stuff. So, yeah, Secular Buddhism podcast is great because I even like, his thing is, use some of these Buddhist concepts to make yourself a better whatever you already are. I'm paraphrasing there, but it's true. Use some of those concepts in your daily life, regardless of what religion you are, or if you have no religious background, to make yourself a better person, make yourself potentially calmer. And I think that's kind of what I'm trying to get at here too, is I'm not trying to sound like a self-help guy. I still need a lot of self-help. I just still, right, like when I did the video on my secondary channel, there should not be any of this. I don't know. There shouldn't be this, like, it should be a topic that anybody can talk about. And I don't think it's still, even though there is a lot of that removed from it in this day and age, and where from people big to small have talked about it and utilize social media as platforms for it, I still think that it's not talked about enough or as openly. You know, check in, definitely now more than ever, check in on other people. Even if it's just a text, even if that person seems like they're doing good, check in on them. If they are the types of person that even, maybe they don't ever show it, that they're depressed or that they get down or what have you. And then we're going into winter here, at least in Pennsylvania. I mean, we're not going into it yet, but it's right around the corner. There's a lot of people that get the winter blues. So if you have anybody that you even know goes into that kind of state, reach out to them. It will, even if it's it's just a super small gesture that can mean the world to somebody that might be going through a hard time. And I say that from personal experience. Again, I want to, talk about this kind of stuff with everybody, and I want you to understand that you're not alone in any of these things. And I'm somewhat too talking from a place of privilege, right? I have the ability this year. I've been in a way better spot than a lot of people have, and I had the ability to improve my quality of life in a couple different ways. And yes, I'm extremely grateful for that. In regards to when I said at the beginning that I was going to talk about me, which I already am, right? But I was going to talk about this too. I went back to doing this. I went back to doing this as a hobby, but still something that is of great importance to me as a hobby. And I went back to doing that as well. So that's another thing, is that you can put something off as long as you want. Or you can, remove yourself from something as long as you want. But there is great importance in doing things that you have interest in aside from maybe your daily job, or things that, man, you don't know the importance of until you do them for the first time or until you do them again. So that's one thing too. I say this, but doing YouTube stuff has greatly helped me too, because that's a outlet for me, and that's an outlet to usually be crazy and talk nonsensical. But I want to use my platform for stuff like this, where I hope this is even effective to 1 out of 10 people, that people will go and work at something that they never, I don't know, it had never clicked for. And I'm talking weight, mentally, job, hobby, everything. Looking inwards. It doesn't mean you need to be hypercritical of yourself. Just know that you can always regardless of how good you are at anything, you can always improve and you can always learn and never stop learning, I think is something that's more of a takeaway from me from this year, even though this year we're going to look back on as just utter nonsense. We're going to be like, oh man, like when you're having a bad day a couple years from now, you're going to be like, oh man, my day's so 2020. So I feel like, yes, like I said, privileged, and I took full advantage of the situation of this year to attempt to make myself better. But for real, if you have the ability to try to make yourself better every single day, just try. It doesn't take any money to try, right? All the stuff that I'm talking about, at least that I remember that I talk about, because none of this was scripted, is going to be in the description. Links to podcasts and what have you. Don't get any money, and none of this is sponsored. And I'm just very hopeful that it helps. Even, like I said, 1 out of 10 people that watch this. Even if it helps one person, let's be real, it would have been effective, because I needed to, and that's what happened. I like listened to certain stuff that turned my brain on. It's already on, right? But or flip that switch of what I needed to hear. Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins 2 is just like an incredible thing. When you think that you have it bad, or you think you have it the worst, you listen to a story like his, which I listened to the audiobook, and you realize how well you have it, even in the worst case scenario. So anyways, I've been rambling about a lot of different stuff. Oh, one more thing too is to live by like the mantra that every day is great. Meaning you should be able to see that even if you're having a bad day, in your context, it might be still a great day. And somebody else out there, it is a great day. Even getting a meal or even drinking fresh water might be a great day to somebody else. So I love that mantra too. And I'm trying to get better at reminding myself of those things. And also, this has me even considering doing something that I know I haven't been consistent with bugs in the podcast already, because I've been busy, but it has me considering doing something like this, like in a podcast form. So let me know in the comments if you would want anything like this in a podcast form, because I'm just going to ramble on these types of videos for 20 minutes, talking about this kind of stuff. So, or if you still want to see videos in the future like this, please like the channel, please subscribe. I know it's not my typical content, and I hope you understand, and I hope you can appreciate this and send it to a friend in need too. If a friend is like stuck in a rut, if you want to send it to them, I'd be more than happy with that too, because the more people share it, the better. But yeah, I really appreciate everybody that subscribed, and I hope this isn't too weird for you guys, and I hope somebody appreciates it. So thank you guys for watching. Patreon people will be here that have supported me thus far. They're also making it possible to make stuff like this that isn't my traditional content, and I really appreciate all of the patrons over there. That's, I think, all I've got to say. Hope you have a great rest of the week, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.